You sure? Okay.
Mm,
Pretty
I haven't had homework in a while. You did your homework was just reading. You done mine? Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Can you put the link to the PDF in the chat so I can pin it? Where is my laptop?
so
Yomi, how could you? How could you, Yomi? All right, guys. We have homework to do. Kevin's not trying to do his homework, but I'm going to be productive today. All right, let's see. Are we able to sign into Canvas? Go to Canvas. Canvas should not still be down. It's been a week. Canvas is no longer down. We do have some announcements. I'm going to pin the comment for those that want to download my store or check out the store for free downloads. Please let me know. Dear Cyber Tech, however, is down. This is posted on the 8th. What's today? Wow, look at my watch. My watch is completely died. You can barely tell. Today is the 12th, so it's been 4 days since then. So I gotta step it up, guys. Cause I haven't been doing my homework like I should have been. And I've been using the cyber thing being down as an excuse. It was down for a couple days. I don't know when they put it back up, but I never checked. I'm checking now though. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some homework done. What was the last lesson that I was on? Let's see. These are exam objectives.
day.
Hello. Ho? Are they calling me a hoe? It says two. Hi. You said I'm on day 8.
I'm
Hello. How are you guys doing today? Of course you're further than me. No, I didn't see that. Cause when I first fixed it, it didn't look correctly. Missed Miss T and AP. Okay, that makes sense. Hi guys. So we're about to do homework. But also, if you guys haven't checked out the stand store for the free download, make sure that you go and check out the free download so that you guys can, get your priorities straight, whether it's your priorities you're trying to fix, your money, your bag, whatever you're trying to work on. And says, most of the time on my Instagram, I talk about fixing your finances. I also have a podcast on here where I talk about finances. And I also talk about self improvement. And it's mainly for young adults that want to stop living paycheck to paycheck because you have to be able to break the cycle Most of us were never taught how to make sure your money actually works. Nobody sat down and explained why your paycheck disappears before the month ends. And that's not an accident. It's just a gap that nobody filled in for us. So that's the type of stuff that I fill in on my PDFs if you check those out through the website. Hello, user K. That's a lot of letters. I'm not going to read all those letters, but hi. What is your problem? What's your problem? You need some water? You thirsty? You thirsty? You thirsty? Come out here then. Come out here then. Come out here. Come get some drink. Come on. Yeah, that's a lot. It was like KX5OM9BTAM. Like, what is that supposed to mean? You got to pick a word that that makes sense. I hope you're having a good day. Where are you guys from?
Oh,
But I feel like you have to save some of your money. At some point, you have to figure out how to save your money. You have to figure out how to budget your money. But right now, we're doing a lesson on. I gotta go back to my canvas. I just was in it. I gotta figure out what lesson I'm on. I'm on day. I should be on like day 6. I'm on day 5. I skipped some of day 5, so I think I have to go back to day 5 and get the correct. I just got so frustrated when I was doing day 5. You're from Thailand? What time is it in Thailand? I skipped day 5, but it let me move on to day 6. So maybe I should just go back and do the labs. To be honest, I'm just gonna go back and do the labs at least so that I can understand the lab. I'm learning cybersecurity. I know, right? Sounds lame. I'm not in Thailand. I was born in Thailand. We moved to America. Oh, what part of America do you live in? I definitely asked where you're from, not where you live at. I'm nosy. Bear with me. You wanted some water? Did you get some water, Mr. Bar? Okay, I'll put them in a notepad. Oh, press Control E, then click the Microsoft Edge on the taskbar. Put the Microsoft Edge on the taskbar, then navigate to google.com. www.google.com. Once I get to Google, stop capturing. I wasn't supposed to hit the where until after I came back from Google.
yes, but there's nothing on there, right?
That sucks. It was in Bethesda too.
Mhm.
Uh, you win some, you lose some. I wonder if they sent me an email. He heard that I was a woman and he had to let me know that yeah, this is physical work, ma'am. There's another place in Bethesda that's hitting me up. They want to see me on my birthday or the day after my birthday. May 22nd at. I actually don't know what this is for at all. They didn't even reply a specific email. What's wrong? Mhm.
Recording in progress.
Sorry about that.
All right. So it doesn't have a subnet mask. They're not applicable. That's what CDNA, especially E, because E is used for experimental use. Okay. So when they're doing testing and stuff like that, D still used and it's used for something called multicasting. Okay. And that is a selected group of computers or devices on the network that will be listening to a message or a transmission or packets. Okay, so these are
I be working at the Union Market.
what is the purpose of this? Back then, in the old days, when someone needed to be like needed to have like a meeting or something, or traffic fire or something, they didn't want to flood the network. So, or for security purposes, they didn't want all the devices on the network to be able to see those packets. So they put these computers starting with IP addresses 224 all the way to 239, 255, 255, 255 on that network range. So those devices will be what? Isolated from the rest of the network. Okay, so think about multicasting. Like right now we are on Zoom, right? So I could create like a separate room. And if I ask a selected group of you, like users, okay, such and such, I need you in my room, okay, my Zoom room. So only I select a group of you, like, okay, so that is multicasting, something like that. Not in Zoom, but you get the points. Like, is it just a selected group of people, computers, or devices that would be on that network? Okay, so we have something like unicast, which is communication between two devices, like a switch and a PC. That type of communication is called unicast. Broadcast, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm broadcasting. Why? Because I'm the only one that is talking right now and you are listening. That is called broadcast. So switches, routers, they broadcast on the network. They send signal to all the devices on the network, especially switches, asking those devices, you know what? Give me your IP address. Give me your MAC address. I need to update this information on my MAC address table. See, that's only one signal, and all the devices are listening to the same signal, and then they respond back. But of course, since every port on the switch is own domain, collision domain, there's no interference, there's no delay because
Okay, I
that
found.
IP address. Okay.
No, you didn't.
Network are several rules. Okay, so the same way we speak a language or two or three the same way. I was speak different languages. These languages are called protocols. Okay, so for every service that you have on a network will have its own protocol, like DHCP, DNS, right? FTP. Those are different protocols. Meaning that's the language that that service would understand. Okay, and all of that is part of
They would have to pick me, right? They'd have to pick me. They have to pick me. It's no brainer. They'd pick me.
it's not only
I'm pickable.
TCP and IP, it's this combination of different
And it'd be fun. I could dress how I want to dress, not just log in dress.
the system know how to forward those information, where to send it. It's like your PC have ports on the back, USB ports, power cable, right? That's where you connect your keyboard, your mouse, and stuff like that, speakers, right?
Yo,
Monitor.
this is so crazy because look at these pics.
You know, for those are physical ports.
This is actually so crazy.
What logic ports. And the system
I don't know.
this port, you know, if you're getting like an email, it knows where to send it. Right? So that is what
These are all their stylists. There's no black people here.
143 IMAP. It knows where to inject that packet. Okay, so that way it could be displayed or on the screen, or you get an email address. Okay. Now,
There's like
also on the A plus,
calling her a color is just even crazier.
it went way beyond A plus when it comes to networks.
Oh, okay.
It's starting just with A
He's
plus.
still not black.
Something
Giving me hope.
for Network Plus. They
There
had
we go.
network in the past, but it wasn't that advanced. Like they going
Bounce niggas. Yes.
addresses,
Yes.
network and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, guys,
There are black people here.
might as well do it starting. You know, I know it could be a little bit,
Yes.
but by the time you get to
I have a
network,
Bethesda location as well.
have Network Plus already because you're learning where the A plus.
I'm gonna find me a hairstylist.
Yes, just to answer your question, just trying to find a way, like, you know, it could be anything you could compare, okay, with network or components. So when I was learning A plus, not even A plus, when I was learning computers, IT in general, I started comparing body parts with components, like CPU, motherboard, is the spinal cord, the traces on the motherboard is like the veins on your body. That's how I used to compare things so I could remember it. Okay. Okay. So when they ask you a question, it's very common, guys, at the beginning, like I said before, hang in there, guys, hang in there. Okay, so at the beginning, it's a little bit rough. Okay, especially with networks because everything is like looks the same. Something might not make sense as you can see sometimes. Like, why is that? Like, these are rules. They determine these rules, and there's nothing else that we could do. Like, just to follow them. I'm gonna give an example. For instance, here with this IP address 172.16. Okay, you might see something like this. Let me refer back over here. See this 172,
Can you help me with this?
12. This is called cited 12,
What?
a forward slash.
Who's asking you?
All right, but you also might
Note
see
down three
like
examples of
172.
TCP80.
Wait a minute. This, which one is it? 12 or 16? Okay. These are fixed numbers. They decided, you know what? We're going to use these IP addresses.
Cool.
It doesn't matter what you
That's
have on the
do
bottom.
that text box right there.
It's still
Here.
172, and this one is only using 4
Text
bit.
box right there that says TCP
Meaning
equal
12.
equal.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yes.
there's a range from 16
Click on the blue
all the way
right
to
next to the green.
31. So meaning that you have 172.16 all the way to 31, that is a private IP address.
All of us
Because
that
you are
equal
extending
80
four more bits
that are in the
to make
TCP.
31. That's how it becomes
Like,
15. All right. So you might see 172,
I don't have
16,
pen.
that's zero, that's zero,
My foot is
side
cramped.
forward slash.
Do you have a pen on you?
This one, you have
Yeah,
16
mine don't.
here. But because when we're using this IP address, we're going to use three
You don't have to write
offset,
it down.
just the network. Okay. Now this becomes what? 8, 16, 24. So this is what? 16. Now it's going to become what? 24. You see, and that's how things get
Did I write this?
using. Okay, because you see one thing now, and next thing it's another word. Okay, you say, wait a minute, which one it is? Like, make up your mind. So that's what it is. So this thing that we could do is just follow the rules. So you can begin those things. This is one of them. But
So
yes, they have
what is it?
an explanation. For instance, one, you see, 10.
What is it?
Hey, wherever it's at, should leave it there.
How did I get this 8? Here. 10. 8 bits.
So you stole somebody's toy.
This.
Why are you yelling?
You go to school tomorrow.
So this is what they mean by
Didn't
side.
because it's not going anywhere. It's not. Exactly.
You see,
it's not.
when I address here, 92.
It's not.
The red one is the network ID, meaning that is not going to change. That's
So
like
where's it going?
street name. Main Street.
How did you get it up there anyway?
So that one changed.
All I'm saying is that I'm not gonna do it right now.
That changes what?
That's all I'm saying.
House number 1, 3, and so on. So this whole thing here.
Just wait. Because you don't really need it.
And it's true. This is what they call a network address, meaning this address cannot be assigned to any device on the network. This is only to what? To identify the network. Now, this is the network ID.
It's a squid.
And
I'm trying because I don't know what she's talking about.
I understand what you're saying.
decimal
It's the fact that
one.
you want to for now.
Right?
You stay there
Binary
now
number.
tomorrow. So they could stay there
A
for the
bit.
whole day. Tomorrow.
Girl, bye.
A 0.
I'm saying girl, bye to you. You tripping. That it can stay there till tomorrow. You're tripping.
So now look at the subnet mask. And by the way, guys, this is what we call the default subnet mask for the classical IPv4 addresses. Classical meaning they have not been broken down in one whole network. We're not doing something called subnetting. So when we do network, we're gonna come back here. We're gonna learn how to get all these numbers, okay?
How do I go to the side?
Now, I have 8 over here, so 8 over here, and I had it 8 over
Where's
here.
the port at?
Okay, so 8,
This is the source. Where's the IP in the port?
24
Slow.
plus 2 that I took from the host to make more networks. Don't worry about this now. I just want to show you how we get that cider notation that you read on your PDF. I read the PDF, but I saw that they didn't explain it where you get
What I wrote
that cider notation. Okay, so we're counting the number of bits
was
that makes the subnet.
This is the destination.
16, 24
the length and the info.
plus
Everything down.
2
Line.
is 26.
I only wrote
That's what you see here. I
You
have
took that.
a cider 6. Okay, so
Yeah.
like I said, don't worry about this now. Need to know this now. Now, going over here, okay, I have cited 8. Why? Because I have 8 bits over here, but they're not all on. You see, they determine even it doesn't matter if it's a 1 or a 0, it's still gonna be 8. Why?
Can you grab my phone charger while you're up?
Matter of fact, let me change that, guys. Let me change that. I don't want to confuse you. Okay, let me go back here. We're talking about what? Subnet mask. Okay, and that's what we're talking about here. Subnet mask. That's why you have those that number 8.
You gotta
Let's
win.
do it here. Okay, so you can see it. So
Pushing me is crazy, yo.
okay,
I realize you come back.
one more zero. Now that is a
Single dot.
class A
These are all the same numbers.
network address.
Thank you.
Classful.
They are all the same numbers.
Now subnet mask 255.
Some have one
That's
source,
zero.
others have a different source.
That's zero.
At the same time, they're going from one
I got
number to the
another
other.
side.
Three, four. That's it. No more zeros. For octet. Okay. Now I have another way of writing this using what? Cited notation. I could do the same thing as this. What's wrong with my zero today?
I need a nap.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do the same thing as this. Look. Cited 8. Why? Because I have 8 bits over here. And if we go back over here, see, when all the bits are on, meaning there are ones, if you add all these numbers, it'll give you 255. How do you get this 255? You have to use that imaginary line that I gave you, those imaginary numbers called bit values, starting with 2, going from right to left, doubling like usually you start by ones, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 16, 32, 64, right? 128, 256.
So I have to open Notepad.
Add those numbers on top for whatever number on top. If it has a 1 on the bottom, you're going to have this number. So all the numbers are going to have a 1 on the bottom. So you add up all of them together, that will equal 255. Now, if you take more bits from here, from the host portion to create more networks, then you have to add it. And that's why you get like CIDR, for instance, 26.
Okay, Kevin.
Class is the inter-domain routing.
No, I'm not finding Notepad.
Okay, now what are you going
All the
when you are
I'm gonna start.
working with your routers and switches and
You're gonna
you
type in
assigning IP addresses to these
Not know
devices, instead of writing,
run.
for instance,
The
something
type
like this,
type in run.
make up an IP address here, a valid one, because that was a network, like 10, that one,
I
that
gotta
one.
type in no.
Router's IP address, subnet mask,
No,
because it's
no.
a private IP address, it's always going to be 255, 0, that's 0, 0, bro.
Click on
Another way that I can do that is by doing this.
it to the center.
You do the cider A, and you actually would
So
touch
don't
this on the
do that.
router switch. Okay, and right there, you're telling the device, yes, I'm using class A private IP address, cider A, meaning 55. Yeah, there's what happened. So that's how you get the citing notation. Let's go back over here. And that's what you have here. You see? Now, if you look over here, we have IPv4 address classes. There's a range. For instance, from a class A is all the way to 127. It's actually start with 0 all the way to 127. But we have a rules in networks that we cannot use the 0 network. So an IP address cannot be something like this. 128.0 or 1.0.0.0. That's the network address. Okay, so this have to change. Cannot be all zeros. Okay, neither could be all ones. This is all ones over here, 255. If we look back over here, see, this is all ones over here. Look. So you will never see an IP address something like this. You cannot assign 10.255, 255, 255. It won't take it. Why? Because this IP address is a third. IP address is for the broadcast IP address used by
Then I close it.
routers and switches to broadcast information signal on the network when they want us to talk to
I saved it.
devices from the network.
Oh my god, I'm so
Now,
tired.
this could be a valid IP address. See, 10, that's 255, that's 255, that's 254. Yes, you could use that one.
It says clear all
Fine.
filters
So
and
it cannot be
we'll call it
255, it cannot be this,
look
all
for
this
TCP packets.
or all one. Okay? And that's why you need to take two from here. You take the zero, and you are actually you're taking the zero here because it cannot be all zeros, and you're going to take the 127 because the 127 is reserved. Okay, so that's why you see this range from one all the way to what? One, that's zero, that's zero, that's zero, all the way to 126, that's 255, that 255, that 255, divided eight, meaning the subnet mask is what? 255, that zero, that zero, that zero. All right. You might see in some books, you might see online that starts with zero all the way to 127. You say, wait a minute, which one is it? Is it one to 126 or is it 127? Now you know why some books or some like website online might show only from one all the way to 126. Now be zeros cannot be used, cannot be 127 because that's the search or loopback address. All right. Now look at a class B, starting 128 all the way to 191. The same thing, 128, that's 0, and the last one, which is the broadcast address for the class B, it would be 181, that's 255, that's 255, that's 255. Now look over here. Cited what? Cited 16. Before it was saying there was cited what? 12. See, now it changed to 16. And that's what we're going to stick with, at least for now, at least for this part of the exam, okay? A1624. Those are going to be what? The default subnet mask for the um, three different classes of IP addresses. In class C, 192, that's 0 all the way to 223, 255, that's 255, 255. Cited 24, that's the same thing as saying 255, that's 255, that's 255, that's 0. Okay. Let's go back here again.
Black man?
Just trying to get in. See, letting me know. Now, this is the thing about Zoom. Like Zoom, sometimes the message pops up. All right, and I apologize. Let me see. They were joining. I apologize for those of you that were waiting. I didn't see the prompts. Yeah, you know what? Let me leave this window open so I can see it. Thank you for letting me know. I need a second, Brian.
What's I need to know?
So going back to the different classes of IPs, for those who are joining with discussing IP addresses, is the different ranges, class A, B, and C. Now here we have public and private. Again, from one all the way. You see, this one says from one all the way to 127. For the previous one, you see you have one all the way to 126. We know 127 won't be used. It's the loopback address, right? Subnet mask. There you go. See, cited 8, cited 16, cited 24. All right. Again, guys, default subnet mask. There's something called subnetting and networking. And that's when you take this whole network, you break it down into multiple subnetworks or segments or subnets to create more networks. But the more networks you have, guess what? The less host or IP addresses per network that you have. More IP addresses, less network. More network, less IP addresses. Right? But if you're using the default one whole network, that's the whole. Now, with a class A, number of networks, 126. Okay. How do you get this 126? Since they mentioned here, guys, and I don't know if the country is going to ask you this question or not. Okay, so number of hosts per network, meaning number of IP addresses that you can have per network is over 16 million. That's a lot of IP addresses for what government and large number of hosts, not only for government, schools, bank, any large network using class. I have seen inside networks using in class AI address. Why? Because they want to make sure that in case they keep growing, they don't have to worry about like free IP and everything. They have enough IP addresses that they don't have to worry about. Okay, but now let's find out how you get this 126 here. Okay, so how many bits do we have here? Eight, right? Eight ones. They're all on. So this is what you're gonna do for now. When you have eight, just take one away. Subtract one, and you end up with seven. All right. So now, what's the base that we use in electronics with electronic devices that uses binary numbers? What's the base? You guys are quiet today.
Facts. I'm not really learning.
Okay, guys, so that's going to be base two. Okay. Right.